What is normal? What is abnormal? Okay, and stop pointing at me. That is so rude. I mean, seriously, I want to know. I want to find out who decides what is normal, what is abnormal, what is acceptable, what is unacceptable, what's conventional, who decides this? I mean, is it the UN? Because that's just cray-cray. I mean, and we're kind of caught in this unproblem. You know, we have this problem. We all want to be unique, but we want to fit in. We want to stick out, but we don't want to be different. We want to be one in a million, but we don't want anyone to single us out. I mean, and yet, and then when somebody is abnormal in our estimation, we point fingers and laugh at them. And okay, I do. I don't know about you, but you got to have something to pass the day, right? So, but anyway, so this is the question of today for this Phil file, and it reminds me very appropriately of bacteria.
I'd gone through so much other stuff that walking down the aisle was tough, but now I know it's not enough.
I want to be a clone.
I asked the Lord into my heart, they said that was the way to start, but now you've got to play the part.
I want to be a clone.
Be a clone, kiss conviction, good night. Cloniness is next to godliness, right? I'm grateful that they showed the way, cause I could never know the way to serve him on my own.
I want to be a clone.
All right, bacteria. Now, bacteria, I have some antibacterial soap here. But bacteria is interesting. With this antibacterial soap, I remember reading this. Okay, I won't lie. I heard about it. Okay, I heard this story about how we can be too germophobic. All right, by killing so many germs, we actually make ourselves more sick. Healthy children are exposed to a modest, reasonable amount of germs, which is why there are no 5-second rules in my house. It's just get it before the dog does. Okay, but there are, you know, we have this germophobic mentality. And so we kill everything. We want to sanitize life. We want to make life completely normal. Well, that's actually unhealthy. Bacteria being exposed to contagions in a reasonable. You don't want to take your kids to like a leprosy colony or something, or you know the hospital ever. But what happened? We're actually, speaking of hospitals, we've bombard everything with antibiotics and stuff. So we've actually created superbugs. All right, we've created a problem that now we have no solution for, because we want to kill everything. We want everything to be normal. We want everything to be sanitized. We want life to be controlled. And the problem with controlling life is it just doesn't work that way. All right. And so this study that I heard about is basically they're saying people that live in a little dirty of a house, those children are actually healthier. Children that are in a house with no contagions whatsoever, and everything's sanitized, and you know everything's just perfect and pristine. Those kids are actually sicker because they're never exposed to things, and that's why my parents let me eat bugs all the time, and worms and dog food. And why did they feed me dog food? Anyway, but yeah, being exposed to these things. I was having dinner with my parents tonight, and we were talking about different things, and something has come to my attention lately, that I am abnormal. Okay, I'm quirky, and actually, I found this out a while back in college. I was cleaning out my dad's filing cabinet, and I found this file that said Philip. I mean, of course, that's my name, and so you know, logically, I was like, does he have another son named Philip? No, I opened it up and it was about me. Okay, so I opened it up, and my parents had taken me to see a doctor when I was 3 or 4 years old, because they thought something was wrong with me. Oh, if they only knew. So they took me to see this doctor, and this doctor had written on this, it said, the developmental delay, nothing to be worried about. My speech, I had a speech impediment. And nothing to worry about, your child is just quirky. Now, nowadays, I think they would do all these tests on me and all this and probably label me with Asperger's or high-functioning autism or something. I don't know. But that's what the doctor said. I was quirky. And I looked at it, I was like, right, I'm quirky. I get it. Okay. But it's come to my attention recently. I don't read things the way other people read things, or the normal way. And again, what is normal and who decides that, and where, But I see things a little differently. And so it came to my attention that I would basically, I'm dense, and some things I completely miss. And then other things I really get, it's this peak of, it reminds me of something called the bell curve. I don't know how I made that connection, but we'll just go with it. The bell curve is you have this curve, and basically you have your 50 percentile. I was never good at the median mode, okay? But the median, and then as you move out from the middle, so if you charted IQ, let's say, if you charted IQ, you'd have your very low IQ and your genius level IQ over here. And then the majority of people are going to be around 100, okay, is like your average IQ, and then it kind of goes down. So your genius is Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Phil Fanstills, okay, they're over here. I don't know what my IQ is. Okay, I can't count past 10. Okay, but anyway, so you have this IQ curve. You have your geniuses over here, and then you have Forrest Gump over here, all right, and then the majority of people, and then you have your standard deviations. Anyway, I'm not going to teach math anytime soon. But so this is your bell curve. Well, in anything, the funny thing is, we all want to be normal, we want to fit in, whatever. But what the people we admire are the ones over here, or the people we like to make fun of or mock are the ones over here. So the normal is boring. I mean, sports. Do we go see basketball games? I want to go watch normal people play basketball games at the convention center. No, we want to see these freaks of nature who are 7 feet tall. No offense, Dirk. We want to see these freaks of nature that are really tall, really good at basketball. We want to see the ones way up here. When we go see movies, when we see the actors and the actresses and the people that are just crazy talented, okay? We don't want the normal. Or we want to, on YouTube, we want to watch the people that are just really terrible. Or whatever. Or when I play basketball, I like to play against these people. All right, but in reality, the average and normal is boring. And I think about if you fit any kind of criteria onto a bell curve, the normal is boring. I mean, and that's kind of we long to live lives of dramatic and flair, and yet we so often settle for cliches. I mean, we want miracles, but we embrace the tried and true and the conventional. Right? And so we have this dichotomy, we have this tension in our life. So finding that paper that said I was quirky, that was kind of it's like, but and I do see things differently. I think maybe I see things the same as everybody else. They just don't want to admit it, But so I'm going to admit it. So I used to tell my students when I would first meet them, they'd come into my class, and I'd have kids every 7-8 weeks. They'd rotate through, and one of my things I did repeatedly is first day the kids would come to my class, I would say, "You guys are weird," and someone would go, and I'd say, "But that's a good thing. I mean, weird is a good thing. Abnormal is a good thing. Embrace it. Embrace your quirky. Embrace your." Not crazy, but embrace the stuff about you that makes you a little odd. All right, and so I tell them they're weird, and then we'd play this game called Name Pinball, and where they'd tell me in the class about themselves. So it was always very fascinating. It was always very interesting little experiment. I did a lot of those kind of experiments where it's not a classical experiment. It was just more kind of. But we had fun. But one of the things that was interesting is when we'd, I'd say one of the things was, tell me something weird about yourself, right? So they'd give their name, what they want to, what their hobbies are, favorite, whatever, and then what's something weird about yourself. And it was interesting how somebody would say something weird, like they liked weird food. Well, then 5 or 6 other kids would copy that person, not necessarily what kind of food, but they would, I want to fit in with them, so I'm going to talk about weird foods. It was just weird how there's a pattern. There's a pattern of weirdness, and so one person, then everybody want to fit in. And it's hard standing out. We all want to be, we all, I don't know, maybe you don't want to be accepted, but I want to be accepted. I want to fit in. But at the same time, do we sacrifice what makes us us, what makes us unique, what makes us one in a million, what makes us special? Do we sacrifice that in order to conform to a mold that is artificial? All right, to use some fancy words, some jargon that I picked up, to artificial constructs. I don't know what it means, but it sounds really good. But do we fit into this cookie cutter, mold? I don't know. It's never really appealed to me. All right. So I was recently this year, a little self-disclosure because that's pretty much what I do here. I was diagnosed this year with ADHD. Or semi-diagnosed. I was kind of like, yeah, you probably have ADHD. Do you want to take your medicine? No. Okay, well, here's some tips. But yeah, I was diagnosed with ADHD, which is weird. Where was I going with that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, ADHD. That's right, ADHD. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, which kind of makes sense when you watch these videos. Okay, so it also makes sense if you're over in one of my classes. It was bing, 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 bing. I had a plan, and I would tangents were the rule, not the exception. But we had a lot of fun. And so ADHD. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm like, well, wait a second. So for so many people, what makes that's as a teacher. I kind of like the kids with ADHD. Now I understand why. But, and I would try to work with them. But classes are designed for a certain type of student. Well, that's going back to that bell curve. Okay, so you design a class for, this median, the 2 standard deviations, or a standard or 2. And then all these other people are abnormal. And then we try to conform and fit them into the mold. And there is a reason why homeschool and alternate schooling and these different things are flourishing, because people are like, wait a second, I don't want to make my boy, and no offense to ladies out there, but schools are very friendly toward ladies. All right, ladies do much better in a school setting than boys do. Boys, I don't know why I did so well in school. Oh, anyway. But boys, on the most part, maybe it was because I was always daydreaming and I wasn't there anyway. So, but boys, for whatever reason, because they don't fit in as well in the school system. Now, some will be able to conform and anyway, where was I going with that? We try to everything in life. We want to conform, even houses. The house I'm renting now is unusual, and I love it. I'm like, this is kind of a quirky house. I'm like, yeah, it kind of fits me. It has brown carpet and brown stuff. I'm like, I don't know why, but it's like, it's quirky. I mean, I got bookshelves, and I mean, it's like, and we things that stand out we like. I mean, architecture, we don't put pictures on our wall of normal looking buildings. We put, Eiffel Tower, Taj Mahal, Dallas Cowboy Stadium. No, we put things that are unusual, things that are unique. Now there is a balance, and there is a need to, while expressing our own quirky, while embracing what makes us unique, what makes us special, there is also a need for balance. I think the best illustration of this would be in military terminologies, combined arms. Okay, if you just send a whole bunch of men, a whole bunch of soldiers out, then the airplane can come down and just shoot them all up. Okay, if you just send out a whole bunch of airplanes, then you can never actually possess territory. You have to have boots on the ground. Okay, if you just have airplanes and men, well, that's pretty good. Okay, but then what are you going to do about oceans and stuff? So you need boats, all right, or armored vehicles. So the best military strategy is where you have combined arms. You have some men, some tanks, some airplanes, some helicopters, some boats, and you combine them and you mix them, all right? And depending on the particular environment you're going into, you might have more men, or you might have more, if you're going fighting, the deep sea trenches of the ocean, you're not going to have a lot of men, you're going to have submarines. I don't know why I went there, but anyway, so you got to tailor to the situation. Well, as people, we're unique, and as we embrace our uniquenesses and our quirky, But we also need other people around us to kind of balance this out. That's where I was going with that. So we have other people around us that balance this out. People that can kind of call us when we're like going a little too quirky, or maybe we that balance us out. And I'm thinking the Roman soldiers, you had the tortoise where you'd have your shield, but then another guy to your side, he would have his shield covering. All right, so your shields would help cover the other man, and then shields over top. So you'd have this formation that was very, very effective. And so being in a community, that's why the Bible says, "Do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together." And there is a communal function that we need each other. We need other people we need their quirky. Right? You're quirky, yeah, but you need to also embrace the quirky of others and learn how their quirky can help your quirky, and where you're weak, because we are all weak in areas, and where our weaknesses, somebody else's strengths help to cover us, and our strengths help to cover them, and so forth. In conclusion, and I actually wrote this down so I would make a good conclusion, not ramble like I'm doing right now. So here's my conclusion. God made you special and has designed you and created you with a unique purpose. Don't conform to anything that this world, people, conventions, expectations, don't conform to anything except for God's call